Please help me as we welcome KARK4 news anchor Gary Burton.
Can you hear me if I stand? You good here? Got you. Well, thank you guys for having me once again. My name is Gary Burton Jr., weekend anchor for KARK and Fox 16 on occasion. I'm glad to be here and I'm glad to speak in front of you guys. I just want to say thank you for being interested in this career field, whether it's just an interest right now or whether it's a passion and you know that this is the way that you want to go. I want to thank you because we need you. We need young, energetic people that is ready to be in this field. It's a challenge. It's tough, but it's rewarding. Knowing that you helped a family, knowing that you helped a loved one find justice, or knowing that you told a fun story just about a turkey giveaway. It's a rewarding feeling at the end of the day, and I hope that one day you can feel that feeling to clock out every single day and know that you did your duty as a reporter or as an anchor. Throughout this presentation, I want to talk about the art of storytelling. I'm not the best, I don't claim to be, but I've learned a few things out of 4 years of being in this field. It wasn't pretty at first, and it's not going to be pretty. Hopefully it is pretty for you at first. Hopefully you got it like that. I pray that that's what it is. But you learn every single day, you grow every single day, and you take nits and pieces and nuggets of information and just continue to stack. Just continue to stack your craft and continue to grow in that reporter, in that anchor, in whatever it is that you are doing. A little bit about me, as mentioned in the introduction, born and raised here in Little Rock, so I'm proud to be here to talk, not here, born and raised in Little Rock. This is Pine Bluff, but I'm proud to be here to speak with you guys today. As mentioned, I attended Arkansas Tech and started my career at WJTV 12 News out in Jackson, Mississippi, as an MMJ reporter. For those that don't know what an MMJ is, an MMJ is pretty much you do it all yourself. Do it all yourself. You're your own photog, you come up with your own stories, you edit your stories yourself, you post social media yourself, you post to the website yourself, you do everything. It's tough because you got deadlines, you got all of that. But it's rewarding because you get experience at everything. You know what to look for behind the camera. You know what type of shots that you want for when you are working with the photog later in your career. You know what a story should look like so you can hold your photog accountable. So, yes, you might not want to do it. You might not want to be out there alone by yourself without a photog, setting up your own live shot to go live, but it's rewarding. Mindset is key in this field. Keeping a strong mind is definitely key, for sure, especially as an MMJ reporter. I mentioned it's tough, it's challenging, but as I mentioned, I went on, became the weekend anchor there in Jackson, Mississippi. Blessed, opportunities open, I took it, got my first anchor experience. That wasn't pretty as well. Stumbling, still stumble to this day. I don't know if you guys watch the weekends every now and then, but I still stumble from time to time. That's gonna happen. Mess ups, it's powerful. Failing, it's power. As long as you clock out that day and forget about it and come back the next day and ready to not make that same mistake again. You're gonna do it again. We're human. People look at us differently and look at us as all of this and we on TV, but we're still human at the end of the day. At the end of the day, So, if you mess up, keep on rolling. But I wanna take you guys into my newsroom. As I mentioned, this is gonna be about a little nits and pieces and nuggets of information on how to, when it comes to storytelling. So in my newsroom and with my news director, when it comes to a story, he looks for certain things. And a few of those qualities in the story that he looks for is creativity. What's creative? Are you having fun with your story? Are you just giving the information, or do you have a good stand-up if it's available to do? You might know what a stand-up is, where you kind of elaborate a certain point, something creative, showing a little scene. Do you have a good stand-up? Hard news, loves hard news. A good character. What's a story without a character? If I go out and do a story on a turkey giveaway, what's amazing about the turkey giveaway? There's nothing. But if you got a good character, a kid who raised money, and put all his allowance into buying all these turkeys. That's a good character. That's a good story. A good character as well. Gnats. Anybody want to answer, do you know what gnats is? Someone answer, no? Gnats is natural sound. When it comes to natural sound, a knock on the door. You're at a basketball game, beep, a whistle. You're doing a story on a restaurant, sizzling burger patties. Those are natural sounds to enhance your story. You're doing storm cleanup, chainsaws, cutting trees. That's natural sound that enhances your story. Those are key. Put them throughout your story if you have. Another thing, evidence. Get down to it. What information is needed? What evidence have you been able to gather? Footage. Whether you're an MMJ and shooting your own, or whether you have a photog. And also, footage in the right place. If you're talking about something and you have footage of something, put it together. If you're talking about a fire truck and you say this fire truck arrived first on scene, why are you showing something else and not that fire truck? Make it match. You're telling the story as well as the voice and how good you're talking and tracking. You want it to mirror with what you're showing on screen. And then the last thing, are you doing your job? Are you answering who, what, where, when, why, how? That has to be answered in every single story. That has to. Where did this take place? What took place? Why did it take place? You know? And if you don't have it, you have to let it be known that you put the effort in to try to find that answer. I reached out to the police department. They didn't get back to me. You know? Let it be known that you are doing your job. Before we get to the presentation, well, not necessarily presentation, I have a few of my stories from my time here at KARK. And I mentioned the answers that you need: who, what, where, when, why, how. But the number one answer before you go to your pitch meeting, that's before the day starts and the team is together and they come to you, "Hey, Gary, what do you have for today?" You have to come up with your own stories if you didn't know. You have to come up with your own stories. I've been asked multiple times, y'all gotta come up with your own. You know, how did you figure out? You dig, you dive, you make connections, you look on Facebook, you look on social media, see what the people are talking about. You gotta come up with your own stories. In the pitch meetings, you have to answer the most important question it is. Does anyone want to take a wild guess on what that question is? Before any interview, before any pitch meeting, before anything, anyone, why is this newsworthy? Why is this newsworthy? Why should this be aired today? Why should this be on TV in front of Arkansas? Why? That has to be answered. That's the most important question that you have to know. Everything is news. Everything is news. The turkey giveaway is news. But why should we air it? Why should this make TV? That's the main question. And does it fit the day? Might be a turkey giveaway. I'm using turkey giveaway. I don't know why. Might be a turkey giveaway in March. But turkey giveaway in March versus turkey giveaway in November, does it fit the day? You know, November is around Thanksgiving. I know you guys understood that. Does it fit the day? I want to go ahead and show you guys one of my stories. We have a few of them. I got a few examples. Might not get to them all. But I mentioned pitch meetings. Okay? When they came to me on this day, they're wearing green. This is March. Okay? When they came to me on this day, and they asked, "Gary, what do you have for today?" This particular story is about a business in Hot Springs being robbed. Okay? In that pitch meeting, if I were to say it was a business in Hot Springs that was robbed, I'm planning to go out in Hot Springs and just try to find some people to talk to around the area to see if they may have saw something, or just how does it feel to be around this area where this business was robbed. What do we look for? Many businesses around the state have been robbed. Why is this business deserving of being on TV today? How about this pitch? This business in Hot Springs got robbed. I reached out to the owner, doing my job, getting information that I know is going to be on air before it even hits. I reached out to the owner. He told me that this business has been robbed 4 times already this year. It's March. That's just 3 months. 4 robberies in 3 months already. He also said that he has a surveillance video that he's willing to share and willing for us to air to try to capture these thieves. Reached out to the police department. They have made an arrest. And now the owner, he won't be there today, but he did say one of his workers is willing to step in for him to talk. We know who we're talking to. We know what the video is going to be. The team knows a key fact: 4 robberies in 3 months. That's how you pitch a story. That's how you let the team know what it is that you got for today. Let's watch it.
A big store in Hot Springs has been the subject of multiple robberies just 3 months into the year. The robberies have resulted in thousands of dollars in damage and stolen product.
Burton Jr. joined us in the studio this evening after talking to workers there. Gary, it's already hard enough running a business these days, but as the price of nearly everything rises, the last thing you need is a robbery.
Absolutely, Bob. Workers at the Cowley Hunt in Hot Springs showed me multiple videos of the robbers in action as they smashed windows, entered, and gathered. The owner tells me the videos that you are about to see has happened 4 times this year.
Shattered glass and breaking have become a recurring activity at the Cowley Hunt on Central Avenue in Hot Springs. Unable to get through the main door, the robbers on February 4th used the side window.
It's really bad. I've been here 13 years and the crime is gone.
John Mushcat works at the Smoky Hub.
We've been here, what, a year and a half?
Fairly new to the community, but not to thieves. This business has video showing 6 break-ins, 4 from this year, 2 in 2022.
Each time he spent thousands to fix the windows.
The owner wasn't present today, but I did get in touch with him. He says the robberies have cost him over $30,000 in repairs and stolen products.
They just wanted to step out.
The Hot Springs Police Department says they have arrested a juvenile in relation to the February 4th robbery.
This young generation is something else.
The Smoky Hub has another store on Airport Road in Hot Springs, which has also become a victim of burglary. For both locations, more cameras and no bars have been added.
I mean, they'd be stupid to try to do it now.
And Hot Springs PD says the juvenile arrested for the February 4th robbery may be the same person who broke into the business on January 8th. Now, if you recognize anyone from the footage, give the police department a call.
I want to start with the anchor intro. Yes, for those that don't know what the anchor says when it comes to your story, we write that as well. That's our job. They don't really know what it is that we gather throughout the day. It's our job to tell them what to say. Okay? First thing first, with the anchor intro.
A big store in Hot Springs has been the subject of multiple robberies just 3 months into the year. The robberies have resulted in thousands of dollars in damage and...
What's tough with the anchor intro is you want to tease the story, but you don't want to tell too much information that takes away from what you're going to say, because you don't want to sound repetitive. So you don't tell all. That's how I like to put it. You don't tell all. Thousands of dollars. It leads the viewer to wonder, how many? How much? Thousands. That 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. Now they find out 30,000. They're waiting for that. How many thousands? A vape store. Probably plenty of vape stores in Hot Springs. Which vape store? If I'm in Hot Springs, I'm trying to figure out which vape store. That's for me as the reporter to explain, not them. You don't want to put too much information to where your story is already told in your anchor intro. Now, to the toss, how can you get this over to the reporter? How can he send it over to me?
Stolen product.
Gary Burton Jr. joined us in the studio this evening after talking to workers there. Gary, it's already hard enough running a business these days, but as the price of nearly everything rises, the last thing you need is a robbery.
Connecting with the viewer is always a good key when it comes to a toss. The price of nearly everything has gone up today, Gary. It's probably tough to have a robbery to your business. Connect with the viewer. Get that relationship so that, okay, I don't really care about it being a robbery, but price of everything has gone up. Man, that gotta be tough for him. Now the viewer kind of has this emotional connection with this story. That's perfect to do. Now in WJTV, no shade to my former station, but one of the main toss, if we couldn't think of anything, Gary Burton Jr. joins us with more. You know, my news director here, he wants more. Gary Burton, you know, it's gotta be tough, man, with the price of everything going up. Absolutely. A question or an agreement is always a good toss. Gary, how is the community responding? Gary, you know, exactly how many thousands were stolen? Well, 30,000, Bob. You know, a question or an agreement is always a good thing to do. Now, we mentioned gnats. Got a few more points just for this story. We mentioned gnats. Natural sound. Shattered glass. Let's start with that. If you got a video of a neighborhood shooting and you got surveillance from a Ring doorbell, pop, 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 gunfire rang out in Chenal Parkway. Boom. We starting with that. Capture the viewer. Get them in first. Whoa. Man, that's the first thing I see. Boom. Whoa, this robber ain't playing. Whoa. Okay. Shoot, where's the locket? Use what you got, because that's the main thing. We got video of the robbery happening. Multiple. You saw later on, I don't know if you saw the kid or this one right here. Grab something. That's a gnat. That's a gnat. You also got to realize, I mean, you're not the police, but you are helping with the investigation as well. You saw at the end, if you've seen anything, reach out to the police. You're helping with this as well, you know? So that's what main thing in this is, the anchor intro that I wanted to hit on, and gnats. Use your gnats. This next story, and we'll also play the anchor intro. This will be the last anchor intro, but we'll hit on something else in this story. Any questions so far? No? No? Yes, sir.
They give you that video. How did you get access to that video?
Got access to the video. Ask. The worst answer you can get is no. You hear it a lot, especially from the police department. We're not releasing any information. We're not, the investigation is ongoing. We can't tell you that. Ask though. They might tell you. Are you doing your part? Do your job to answer who, what, where, when, why, how. So, I'm talking to the owner of the store. Wow, got any footage of this? Like, of all of this happening? Yeah, man, and it's actually been happening since 2022. Can we use it? You know, do you mind sending that to me? Absolutely. A simple question can go a long way. Just ask. If they say no, we'll just use video from the store. And this was actually an MMJ. My photographer called out this day, so I MMJ'd this. Thankfully, I had the footage from, you know, the surveillance, so That was the bulk of everything. If not, I'll get tight shots of, customers or CBD or whatever is in this store. Yes, sir.
If you're doing your stand-up in front of the store, how might you have changed your anchor toss with you?
Got you. So when it comes to knowing if I'm going to be in studio or outside, and just rephrasing, this is the ins and outs. We call these ins and outs. This is not necessarily a stand-up. A stand-up is in between, So in this story, when I talked about the metal bars being put on the doors, a good stand-up would have been, and to help prevent this from happening again, the owner, they put cameras up, and as you can see, metal bars on the doors. That's a stand-up. That's showing what's happening. But if I were to do this outside if I was live out there at the scene, it would have been the same way. I actually wouldn't have changed my intro. I would have just been live there. Now, in some cases, depends on the day. You may rephrase that, because there we have boarded up things and all of that. Thank you for your question. If you're live for a reason. Okay? You're live for a reason. Don't just stand there when you have boarded up doors and your story is about a robbery. Well, you guys, as you can see here, the doors are boarded up, and then let's get to the information. Paint your picture. Show why you are live. They put you out there for a reason, for a purpose. Thank you for that question. Absolutely. Go to the next one. So that was more so crime-based. I know this one looks crime-based, but it's actually a good story. We call this Good News Matters.
Junior, KARK News.
A former Lono County inmate who you've seen here on KARK News in the past makes a lifestyle change that he hopes will impact others. Jeff Hamrick made headlines for stealing items from the sheriff's office as a trustee.
We call this a revisit. This is a revisit story. I wasn't there when what they just said happened, when he stole from the sheriff's office when he was an inmate. I wasn't there when it happened, but made a connection, and I ended up meeting this guy. But when it comes to revisiting a former story, go ahead and get to it. Boom. Okay. So this guy's been on TV before. Watch that one more time. A former inmate.
On KARK News in the past.
You've seen him on KARK in the past. Who is this? The viewer probably want to know, who is this now? Let's go ahead and get to that revisit, and let's get to the present.
Makes a lifestyle change that he hopes will impact others. Jeff Hamrick made headlines for stealing items from the sheriff's office as a trustee.
After these acts, he made the decision to turn his life around, in a program with the Lono County Jail helped make that life change happen in a big way. Burton Jr. joining us now live after speaking with Hamrick and seeing where he is today. Gary, it's remarkable where he is because he is where he is, and he's also a huge inspiration to so many other people.
Just like the last story. Don't tell all. A program. Now the viewer want to know what program. That's for me to tell. The agreement. Gary is so amazing where he is now, right? Yes, it is, Bob. It is. It definitely is. It's good to have an agreement, a question. That's a good toss. That's a toss for you.
You got that right. I spent time with Jeff Hamrick today, and he showed me mugshot after mugshot from his past. He also told me that he struggled with addiction for over 20 years and that he never actually felt the feeling of what it's like to accomplish something. But that'll change in a week when he graduates from the Peers Achieving Collaborative Treatment Program here at the Lono County Sheriff's Office.
Tonight, Texas Security Lono County Jail after a trustee still doing his time.
Old Bob Clausen pops up on your screen first. I know we're young here, but old Bob Clausen pops up. Someone in their kitchen cooking, turn around and see old Bob Clausen. What he on the screen for? Start with that. We already talked about this, revisiting that past. Get it over with. Bam. Whoa, what's he here for?
And took selfies to prove it. In January of 2016, I made some wrong decisions. Working as an auto mechanic trustee at the Long County Sheriff's Office, Jeff Hamrick made headlines for stealing a pellet gun, meth pipe, and phone he used to take photos.
I had made a real bad name for the Long County Sheriff's Office 2016.
But after being in and out of prison 6 times and having 25 felony convictions on his record, Jeff was ready to change with the Long County Sheriff's Office PAC program. He'll graduate on May 25th.
It's going to be one of the first accomplishments that I've ever made in my life.
It's not just about getting out here and being clean and sober. It's about learning how to become a productive member of society.
Detective Tony Soul says inmates spend 4 months behind bars at LCSO, and then they're sent to a recovery home. She says the program has about a 70% graduation and success rate.
So you get the radio wired up?
Hamrick now pays taxes, has a registered car, and a dream job as a mechanic, just like his duty as a trustee.
It's phenomenal. And I've never lived a life like this. I've never been clean this long.
He says restoring relationships he ruined, finding God,
And I'm just so thankful.
and being there for his son, who he prays with, were the driving forces to where he is now in life.
I am breaking a generational curse for my kid.
With a shred of mugshots to remind him of his past, Hamrick is determined and focused on not just going back, but helping others see the light.
The PAC program graduation is just really a beginning to my new lifestyle.
Major thing I want to talk about in this story is we talked about the PAC program. You know, the Peers Achieving Collaborative Treatment. You know, I said that long title right before we took the story. But what is it? You know, Peers Achieving Collaborative Treatment. What does this program do? What if I'm a convict, or if I need help, what do I have to look forward to? We answered that by talking to the detective.
He'll graduate on May 25th.
It's going to be one of the first accomplishments that I've ever made in my life.
It's not just about getting out here and being clean and sober. It's about learning how to become a productive member of society.
Detective Tony Soul says inmates spend 4 months behind bars at LCSO, and then they're sent to a recovery home. She says the program has about a 70% graduation and success rate.
So you
Evidence that we talked about earlier. Stats, 70% success rate. Get into your story. Yes, he's great character. He's a fantastic character, fantastic story. But what's the meat on the bone? What is the PAC program? You know, you don't have to spend all day talking about it because he is your character. But we still need to inform the people of what it is, of why we're really doing this story. You know, yes, it's to tell his story, but it's to help as well. It may be an ex-con or someone watching this. Man, I need to get my life together. If he did it, so can I. So let him know at home what the PAC program is. If Jeff can do it, I can do it. Make him feel that. Make him feel like, man, I got a son that I neglected. Jeff right there praying with his son. Make that heart-to-heart connection if you can. Because that's what Jeff wanted to portray. Portray what your subject, your character is portraying. You're just their voice. You're just their voice. That's what I want to talk about with that one, is if you bring up something that needs to be explained, explain it. I know we talked about PAC program, but what is it? No one knew what that was before I clicked play. No one. But now you do. Now you got a little grasp of it. This next story, any questions? Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
You said you write that intro?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the neighbor doesn't have any input there?
So if they need some clarification or whatnot, so all scripts get approved, even my full story. So if I type my anchor intro for them, they need some, I'm a little confused on this, but for the most part, Not really. They don't. That's all me. I went out there and reported. But if they feel like there is a better question or a better toss, they can, come to me with that. But for the most part, that's all us. That's all the reporter. There may be some nitpicks that they wouldn't know. They wouldn't know that happened while I'm out there reporting. So that's why it's up to us to write that for them. Yes, ma'am.
When you do a revisit story, do you sometimes have to speak to the producer so you can get the original interview, so you can see what's going on, and also do you also interview the person that originally did the story to get a better understanding?
Got you. So the question was, do we talk to someone to kind of get more information on what we're revisiting? That article was posted. The former Jeff Hamrick situation, that story, still on our website. They don't get deleted. He actually came to me. I was doing another story. It was about Narcan. And a lady was talking to people actually in the PAC program just about a Narcan situation. And he was there. And so he came to me. He said, hey, man, I'm graduating. I was in the program. I was all blasting on your TV back in. I don't know if you were there or not. Oh, really? Sounds interesting. Still got to do my job. Still got to go back, see what the story was. What was he, arrested for? All those mug shots, I dug and got those, So yes, go back and get your information. Do I have to go back and talk to the reporter? They actually long gone. They're not there anymore, but their story is there. And people that was there at the station, they remember it. And so, oh yeah, I remember that. But you really do your own research. And if someone else have input, if you're a team teammate and you have input on a story, or you did something on this and you got something that you don't think that the reporter knows or could help with the story, yes, communicate with that. Hopefully if that reporter was still there and she knew some things that didn't make the story. Not everything makes the story. Sometimes, I think Jeff talked for about an hour. Jeff has some words to say. But crunch an hour to 2 minutes. So yes, if there's something that reporter knew, talk to me about it. Come to me. This next story is fun. All right. Yes, sir.
When you go to the next one, so this one, is you shooting a video? You got a photographer?
Perfect question. Thank you for asking. So anything dealing, I did have a photog. Had a photog. Tell by this, that looks like photog work. I definitely had a photog. The jail video, we didn't have access inside the jail like that. That is foul. Something called foul video, just generic video that we pull. It's kind of the company or station's just generic video. Type in jail and we have it. Luckily, we had some inmates who we don't know. They were praying. It fit the story. Got to be careful with foul video. Say you're doing a school story and you got foul of the school, and let's say that wasn't the school you're talking about, and now that school is saying, that wasn't us. But this is just generic. But yes, it did have a photog, and he did his thing. He did his thing that day. Absolutely. Any more questions? It's pretty beefy. It was a good one. I'm pretty happy with this. This picture of him with the vape pipe and all of that, that's from the initial story that the reporter did. Yes, ma'am. That's from the initial story back in 2016 that the first reporter did. He took the picture and sent it to whoever, and that's how he actually got caught. And so the sheriff's department, that's how the former reporter ended up doing the story. She probably asked for the picture. They said, here, you can use it, and he was put on TV. But yes, the sheriff's department, it really is your answer. So this one is about fun. I remember this day vividly. I had a hard story. It was about a missing person. I think it was his year anniversary. And sometimes this is kind of the frustrating part of the business. You have a story set up, your managers, they may have a different opinion for the day that they feel the direction for a reporter should go. It was hot this day, and they said, we think heat is the story. Even though I had, the mom ready to talk for this missing kid, and, it was all set up and ready to go, but heat was the story. They didn't give me any direction. They said, go find a heat story. Okay? No direction means I can do whatever I want within the lines. So, heat went to a splash pad, and I had fun. I enjoyed myself. Yeah, I did that.
Okay, you can go on to that bucket over there, and you can stay under there and go water that
So here we go, in my jeans and polo shirt, and we wait for the bucket. Now, before we get to the grand finale that I wasn't expecting to be a part of, while I was dry, I just wanted to see how hot these kids thought it was. Now, brace yourself for their answers. Have you cooled off yet?
It's so hot. Man, I'm turning into a head.
Oh my goodness. Can I have a hug? I'm hot. Oh, this is cool, me off. Thank you. So this was the wettest that I was planning to get. I mean, just look at this cutie. Wouldn't you hug her too? But it was this one. She's the one that manipulated me into getting under this bucket, calling me out in front of all of these kids. I don't know who she thought it was, but I had to represent.
They give me every time. Here go your glasses. I'll tell you, with that story, a minute and whatever, we stretched that. Airtime was about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. That's a long time with news. They had a question and answer after, Gary, we talked about it. We just had fun with that day. And some days, that's what it calls for. It's a stressful business, deadlines, all of that. If you can have some fun with it, have some fun with it. In Jackson, Mississippi, we went to Ole Miss for the regional baseball tournament. And the Razorbacks was in the same tournament. My news director, he said, we want you to go down there and report on it, do a news story. And so, didn't really give me any direction. I put on my Razorback hat and I walked around and I asked for woo pigs. Can I get a woo pig? Can I get a woo pig? A simple story, but the answers that they gave, no, do you know where you at? This and that. It was gold. It was fun, and you use it. Didn't know what these kids were going to say. At first I thought I was going to have to do they was doing it's so hot. I was thinking a roast battle with the sun. That was my initial thought. But then she bet me, and I went another direction. Thinking on the fly, staying creative, which is another one of the tips. Having fun, have a blast with it if you can on any day. Because it's not common that it happens for you to have a good time. Any questions? Yes, ma'am.
So when they said go try the heat story, did you have any idea where you were going, or?
Not at first. Because I was all sold on, of course they'll like the missing, my news director loves hard news, Of course they'll like me to do that story. I didn't have any idea. But I will say this, when it comes to heat, when it comes to gas prices skyrocketing, it's always a go, it seems like. And there's so many options for those. Go to a splash pad, go talk to people pumping gas. One story was go talk. I went and talked to a food truck owner. It cost a lot to fill that whole food truck up. You know what I mean? Just certain different things. But no, I did not know what I was going to do that day. I was actually sitting at my desk, and they were like, "Why are you still here?" I'm like, "I'm trying to find something hard newsy to do with this heat." I said, "Man, just go find something. Just go talk to people in the heat." Bet. I'll do that. Bet. I got you. Yes, sir.
Can you touch on briefly about what's involved shooting minors before?
Absolutely. So you got to make sure that it's okay when shooting minors. You know, young kids. This was at a splash pad. It looked as if all of their parents or whatnot was there. It was actually another group that was there that brought a Boys and Girls Club, there. And I asked them if it's okay, and to get consent in a sense first. Don't just go to a splash pad and just start shooting. That's a big no-no. Don't just go to a school where they won't let you on campus anyway unless you get it clear. But anything dealing with minors, got to get it clear first, in a sense. And like I mentioned, it seemed like their parents were there, didn't really shoot them, but they were laughing and all of that, and but as you were asking, just make sure when it comes to minors, you get it clear, you make sure that it's okay, because they don't have consent. So don't just go up to minors and put a microphone in their face. That's a big no-no, big time no-no. Any more questions? Yes, ma'am. Not too often, especially, and that's a good segue to talk about shifts. So you got day side, you got morning, day side, and night side. Morning is pretty much you doing everything that happened from the day before. Nothing's really going on. Our morning show is at 4 to 7. So nothing's really happening unless it's an overnight shooting or something like that, to where the reporter in the morning can go out to and report. So they're pretty much just revamping everything from the day before. Day side, you got to come up with your own stories. That's 10 o'clock to 5 o'clock, 10 to 6, that's that range. Evening news type of ordeal. You have more of a chance to do these type of stories during day side because there's more reporters. There's more shows during the day. We got the 12, we got the noon, we got the 12, the 4, the 5, 5:30, 6, and 6:30. There's more reporters, a lot of content, a lot of shows to fill. So we really just need maybe 2 solid, hard news stories. If you come with a turkey giveaway, if you got a good one, and a good character or whatnot, and it passed the pitch meeting, you can do more of your fun ideas and things when it comes to day side. But night side, a lot of times I'm the only reporter. We may have another one. So you need a lead. You need to start the show with a bang. You're not really gonna start the show unless it's breaking news and I hadn't been able to get out there or something with the anchor just talking. We're gonna come to the burglary in Hot Springs. We're gonna come to another story that I'm about to show you. Some breaking news that I've been at all day. Boom, I've been able to gather information. It's 9 and 10 o'clock now. We're gonna come to you. We're gonna start the show off with some news, some news. Not a water gun fight. You know what I mean? So day side, yes. But for me personally, I've been night side really my whole reporting career, and I would say just about 80%, really 85% is hard news versus fun stories like this. So that's why you take advantage of it. That's why you take advantage of it as best as you can. Am I good on time? How long do I got? Anybody know?
10:30.
How long I got? Okay. I'll do one more story. I'll skip this one, and I'll give you a kind of a breaking news type of ordeal. Big key with this one, when it comes to breaking news, so this day,
Burton Jr, KARK News.
So with this day, I was heading to a story, boom, I got a call. Hey, there's a fire in Clarksville at the Best Western Motel. You should turn around, cancel your interviews, go to that. That's your story for today. Wow, okay. When you get there, we're gonna take you live. All right, okay. So when I get there, I'm live throughout the day. You have days that you live 4 or 5 in every single show, you know, and you have to turn a package. I hadn't talked to anybody, I didn't set up any interviews. The story is there, and I have to go and get it and make a story out of something. Got lucky this day, but here we go.
We begin with a breaking news update tonight. Many people in Clarksville looking for a place to stay tonight after a Best Western motel catches fire. Good evening, everyone. I'm Donna Terrell. Fire crews battled the flames for hours. Gary Burton Jr. joins us live with the story of a family staying there after their home caught fire. And Gary, now this family is having to deal with this fire?
Donna Terrell wouldn't know that happened, you know, that I found that family. That's why we write that, you know. Give me a toss to me, you know. Get the viewer engaged now.
It's an unusual situation, but as you can see, fire crews are still here working. This fire, it was massive, and it's a miracle that no one was hurt physically, but mentally. The family that we spoke about, they're crushed. I actually interviewed them a few weeks ago when their home in Plainview caught fire, leading them to living here, and now they have to relive their nightmare all over again. The heads of those that lay at the Best Western Motel in Clarksville are filled with this noise.
Nat.
Fire alarms going off as flames engulfed. Burton Jr. and her family of 11 were staying at the now destroyed motel because on July 6th their home in Plainview caught fire. They lost everything, including their dogs.
We haven't even gone over that yet, and for this to happen, it just seems
Unbelievable. Going through yet another devastating fire. Like he says, her kids are traumatized and don't feel safe living anywhere.
I'm never going to feel safe letting my kids even sleep without a room now.
Those who worked nearby who were on the scene but declined to be on camera say it was a small amount of time before the cloud of smoke they saw at first turned into horrific flames. The Lackey family were staying in rooms 208 through 210.
I have been on my doors from like housekeepers and stuff right there. We're getting screamed out, like, get out there. And I came out her upstairs and like, that's right.
I'll end it really quick because we're short on time. What I want to talk about in this one is writing to your video. Burgundy Lackey's kids are traumatized. She got video of her holding her kids. Use that right there. You can see the clouds of smoke. Show the clouds of smoke. She was staying in room 208 and 210. When I said that, I got a shot of room 210. Housekeeping. She just talked about housekeeping. Show some housekeeping stuff. Write to your video. And on breaking news, it's key because you're crunched. You're rolling. You're getting interviews in between live shots. In between. It's crunch. It's one of those days when it comes to breaking news. Make sure you're listening and paying attention to your interviews. There's no way I could have remembered just without paying attention that she said she stayed in room 210. You know, pay attention. Take notes if you have to while you're talking. You're out there investigating in a sense. You're on a scene that you know nothing about, and you got to make your own story. That's tough. That's tough to do, but it's definitely doable. Lastly, I'm staying for this one. We're done with the stories. The main thing that, if you don't, leave with anything, get this. I really started this journey when I interned in 2018 at the same station. And I was shadowing reporters, and I went out on a story, and they would get their own content, interviews. And when we got back to the station, I kind of wanted to, see how it felt, see how quick I could turn a story. See, I was there all night. I was there all night. I didn't really know what to do. I'm a perfectionist. But anyway, I end up finishing, the story. The next day, I go to my news director. Can you watch it? I'm thinking it's pretty good, He played it, didn't even let 5 seconds get through before he stopped and he asked me, who is this? Who am I listening to? I said, what do you mean? It's me. He said, that's not you. He said, say something. I said, my name is Gary Burton. He said, that's you. What he's saying is, you don't have to fit a stereotype. and what people think news anchors and news reporters, yes, you go out and talk to someone that's just on the street or whatever, and then say, act like a reporter. They'll say, and I'm so-and-so, you know the stereotype. You don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. My first story, if I had time, I would show you from interning. I was, a quiet place usually turns into, I thought I had to talk like that. You don't. Be yourself. Be yourself. Whether you're live, whether you're tracking your story, no matter what you're doing, whether you're talking on the phone, trying to set up an interview, be yourself. He told me, news directors hire you for you, your teammates and your co-reporters, they want you to be you. The people at home watching you want you to be you. The community want you to be you. Be you. You should want to be you. You know, and in this field, it's quite stressful. You're gonna have some stressful days. You're gonna have some frustrating days, some bad days. I guarantee you, you'll want to have those days without having to flip to someone else. Have those days being yourself. Be yourself. Who I'm right here talking, and this voice right here is the same voice you'll hear tonight at 9 and 10. Be yourself. Don't have that record button change who you are. Don't have the thought that people are watching, millions of people are watching me, change who you are. Because they want to see you. They want to see you. Thank you guys for your time.